And we'll be rolling out of Crappy Loves. Heading to Portland, Indiana, baby. With all of our tanks full of go-go juice. See where Biden's a day late and a dollar short trying to do executive privilege or executive order on the border, but it only shuts down after 2,500 illegals a day cross. Boy, that's a big help, ain't it? After the 300 million he's already let in. Bumbling old bastard.
Those who seek to come to the United States legally, for example, by making an appointment and coming to the port of entry, asylum will still be available.
Day late, dollar short, you old bastard.
Biden threw himself a party at the White House to celebrate. But Democrat senators in swing states up for re-election didn't show because Biden's toxic and not in a masculine way. Biden's so-called border shutdown order doesn't shut down the border at all. It keeps catch and release. We read it, and so did Trump.
Now, after nearly 4 years of his failed, weak leadership, pathetic leadership, crooked Joe Biden is pretending to finally do something
to the
about
left
the
on
border.
I-75
But in
North.
fact, it's all about show because he knows we have a debate coming up in 3 weeks. The truth is that Joe Biden's executive order won't stop the invasion. It's weak and it's pathetic. It will actually make the invasion worse. Millions of people a year will continue to pour across our border and be released into our country.
Biden claims he'll shut down the border if illegal crossings hit 2,500 a day, but they're already over 3,000. So let's just say Biden shuts down the border immediately. What does it really mean? It means this. If Jose gets caught crossing the border, and if we say, Mexico, take him, and Mexico just says, no way, Jose. Jose stays in Estados Unidos.
Continue on this road for 8.9 miles.
They just elected a new president yesterday. She's brand new. Biden hasn't even called to congratulate her, let alone cut a deal. There's no plan to deport anyone. Biden's just hoping that they leave. What happens is he keeps releasing them into the country, but they just aren't allowed to apply for asylum. So they just stay here in the shadows or in hotels for free. It's not like he's flying the Venezuelans back to Venezuela. Venezuela won't accept deportation flights. Migrants are still going to come here, and they're just going to stay because they're just not going to need asylum. So Biden's shutting down asylum claims, right? Wrong. Biden's still letting 1,400 illegals per day come into the country if they use the asylum app. You remember Open Table for illegals? You get to make a reservation to break into the country. And if you're a minor, Biden's executive order still lets you in. You get asylum. Or if you've been trafficked, which literally every migrant is, Biden still lets you in with asylum. And Biden's still flying in 30,000 migrants a month. That doesn't stop. But this is the best part. Migrants can still show up at the border and claim they're scared, and they're fast-tracked into the country. You get asylum if you say you're scared. I'm sure the migrants have never heard that. This executive order just orders more illegals. I'll take 30,000 Venezuelans in the air, 1,400 Mexicans on the app, and we'll do some Chinese and all the kids you can eat.
Who's going to watch those unaccompanied children if they are allowed and you don't ship them back? You don't do anything like that. So where do they go?
Neil, we deal with unaccompanied children in a humanitarian way, adhering to our values. We deter irregular migration. We build lawful pathways.
This encourages drug cartels to take advantage of those kids, does it not, sir?
Neil, we're taking it to the drug cartels with unprecedented strength.
Yeah.
Adhere to our values.
You're that Mary Orcas guy we're taking to the drug cartels. You're full of shit.
Does anybody believe the Biden administration has taken it to the cartels
No.
with unprecedented strength? Have you heard anything about Biden dismantling the cartels? Any big arrests? Any big shootouts? Biden and the cartels are in league together. Even
There's a pretty big difference between what this executive order looks like on paper and what Biden and other Democrats are using it to say they are doing in terms of shutting down the border, saying they're taking dramatic action, etc., and what it looks like how it'll actually play out on the ground. I'm pretty skeptical at this point that this is going to have any kind of immediate, measurable, dramatic result in terms of the number of people crossing.
A Venezuelan Biden migrant, Bernardo Maita, a gangbanger, just shot up a New York City cop in the leg, put 2 slugs in another cop's chest. Luckily, he's alive because of his bulletproof vest. Venezuelan gangs are infiltrating migrant camps from coast to coast. Investigative journalist Jonathan Cho caught a gang right outside of Seattle.
TDA members are also suspected of infiltrating the migrant camp at Riverton Park United Methodist Church in Tukwila, just a few miles away from Seattle. We've obtained this internal email sent out by Puget Sound fire officials in April, warning first responders about this serious threat, saying firefighters are only allowed to enter church grounds if they are accompanied by 3 police units. Graham Bay is an outreach worker and has helped migrants move into area motels.
What do you do when you got 0 opportunities for work, you got 0 opportunities to advance yourself?
He says young men without anything to do all day at the camp are being actively recruited to join the gang.
What's happened is you've concentrated a bunch of people together and you've allowed them to begin to drift into the fringes of society.
Biden threw a party to celebrate keeping these people in the country. Look how easy it is.
Where are you guys from? What country?
Mauritania.
Mauritania, from Africa.
Yes.
Yeah? And why'd you guys come to the United States? What country?
Nepal.
Nepal?
Yeah.
All of you from Nepal?
Yeah. No English.
This is America? See the red lights? That's Border Patrol. Straight. No. San Diego. See the lights?
San Diego, right there. Biden's faux executive order isn't designed to protect the country, it's to protect his campaign. Last election, he ran on opening the border, and this election, he wants you to think he's closing it.
Back in June of 2020, Biden was actually trusted more on the question of border security and immigration by a single point. Look at where we are in May of 2024. My goodness gracious. Look at this huge jump that Donald Trump has got. He is now ahead on this issue by 27 percentage points. So he's to see 10, 15, maybe 20 point shift, but basically a 30 point shift, 28 points if you want to be exact. That is very, very different.
A majority of the country now supports mass deportations. 42% of Democrats support it. If you care about the safety, security, and integrity of this country, there's only one man running to achieve that. The other one's trying to fool you. Don't be fooled. Senator Ted Cruz joins me now. So, Senator, I have this stupid executive order right here. You can still come in even if Biden shuts down the border. Say you're scared, and Biden fast tracks you into New York City for asylum.
Yeah, look, this thing is utterly fake. It's a joke. Biden knows it. It's a joke. Now, I will say what's notable. He finally admitted today that he could have done something about this from the very beginning. He could have issued this order in 2021. He could have issued this order in 2022. He could have issued this order in 2023. He could have issued it last month or the month before, And he didn't. Why? Because he wants the 11 million illegals who have invaded this country. This is the outcome they want. They see them all as future Democrat voters. And so if people have to die, if people have to be murdered, if Laken Riley has to die, Joe Biden and the Democrats are okay with it. If the 2 NYPD officers shot this week by a Venezuelan illegal immigrant who was captured, we had him in Eagle Pass, Texas, and what did Joe Biden do? He let him go, and that Venezuelan went to New York and shot 2 cops. That's happening every week, and this has nothing to do with securing the border. This is all about the election in 5 months, and this is political camouflage. Joe Biden wants to say, I solved the problem, and it's all a prop. He thinks the voters are stupid, and they're going to ignore the last 3.5 years.
Well, you heard Mayorkas say that the administration's taken into the cartels with unprecedented strength. I mean, you're down in Texas, Senator. Have you witnessed that?
Well, actually, he's inadvertently correct. The only time Mayorkas or Biden tell the truth is when they do it accidentally. Unprecedented strength. Let me give you 2 stats from the New York Times. The Mexican drug cartels in 2018 made roughly $500 million from human trafficking. $500 million is a lot of money. Last year, the Mexican drug cartels made over $13 billion from human trafficking. That's a 2,600% increase. So he's right. He's taken the cash to the cartels with unprecedented force. He's made them the most powerful forces in Mexico. And not only is he destroying America, he's also destroying Mexico. Look at Texas. Mexico is our neighbor. Mexico is a wonderful, beautiful country, and the cartels are now terrorizing the people of Mexico. They are murdering people. They are kidnapping people. He has turned them into multi-billion-dollar global criminal conspiracies who are smuggling criminals and terrorists into America.
He's going to blame you. He's going to blame Trump at the debate. He's going to say, you didn't want this bipartisan deal. You guys buried it. I had a solution. You walked away because of politics. What's Trump and what are the Republicans going to say?
Look, there wasn't a bipartisan deal. There was a Chuck Schumer deal. That was a terrible, terrible deal. The Chuck Schumer deal would have made the problem worse. The Chuck Schumer deal put in the law catch and release. It codified it. The Chuck Schumer deal gave work permits to illegal immigrants when they arrive here. The Chuck Schumer deal gave taxpayer-funded lawyers to illegal immigrants when they got here. The Chuck Schumer deal normalized roughly 2 million illegal immigrants a year, every year in perpetuity. It was a terrible, terrible deal. And the reason is Chuck Schumer doesn't want to secure the border. Joe Biden doesn't want to secure the border. The Democrats don't want to secure the border. They want this invasion. The Democrat running for re-election, seeing we had it fixed it, but the mean old Republicans wouldn't agree to it. And that's what Joe Biden is doing now. Now, I will make a prediction, Jesse. In the next few months, we're going to see the numbers drop down a little bit. And this is just like what Biden did with gas prices. They're trying to fool the voters into ignoring his disastrous record. He wants this invasion, and so does every other Democrat.
Yeah, it's a numbers game. They do it with inflation. They do it with the jobs reports. They do it all the time. We're not going to be fooled by it. Senator Ted Cruz, Texas. Thanks as always.
Thanks, Jesse.
Hunter Biden's gun trial and a former sex cult member ahead. Explosive second day in the Hunter Biden trial, the case where we do know the crime. We had tears, drugs, a scapegoat, and our first look at the laptop from hell. We'll have more on that in a moment. This case is all about Hunter lying on a gun form, which the prosecution will easily prove with pictures, videos, texts, witnesses, and cocaine residue on the gun holster. But Hunter's lawyer says that's not Hunter's drug residue. It's Haley's, Hunter's brother's widow, the one he was sleeping with. Yeah, Hunter's throwing his brother's widow under the bus. The defense also said that Hunter didn't even want to buy a gun. Hunter just drove Joe Biden's black Cadillac down to the AT&T store to buy a phone. Across the street was a gun store where a pushy salesman convinced Hunter to buy a Colt Cobra 38 special revolver with a speed loader and a box of ammo. You know how pushy salesmen are. Prosecutors also pointed out that Hunter took out thousands